Welcome, everybody, to a special, very special podcast, the WW Bro Podcast, the Accountable Podcast, and the Fat Guy Forum. I'm here with Gormy, Jarp's Journey, John, or Jarp's Journey, as we've been calling him the whole day because it annoys him. But here, this is a kind of like a round table type of, pardon the pun.
Is that a fat joke?
I feel like
the fat jokes have started already.
That's the best joke I've made in 6 months.
I'm not going to argue with that. I'm on board with
That's
that.
really like the best joke I've made in 6 months now that, comedy's kind of shut down in New York. But this is a special kind of podcast we're doing here. We're doing it live here at Gormy's parents' house. Gormy is actually moving to San Diego.
That is true.
And when I heard that, I was like, okay, we were always planning to do a podcast here from Tammany Hall, the bar and cigar bar you hang out at. And it just never happened with COVID and everything. So when I heard you were moving and you gave the date, I was like, okay, we got to come up. We got to actually do something here. And that's when I talked to Gagoots over here.
Yeah, so I had Anthony on the ALG podcast.
I know. I moved it because I'm like,
killing me, and I'm like, he probably won't
so I had Anthony on the ALG podcast, and he had mentioned to me, we were just talking about Gormy and how amazing he is and whatnot, and I said that I was trying to get out to Rhode Island before Gormy made the big move, and he told me that he had made arrangements to come out here.
You got to talk on the mic there.
Like this?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a podcast, you know that.
I mean, my podcast is like this. I didn't know we were going to break balls now, but if we break balls, we can break balls. Anyway, so Anthony told me he was making the trip out to Rhode Island, and here I am.
Yeah. And it's nice because we're sitting out here, we're enjoying a cigar, and we're going to chop it up a little bit. And here, I mean, at this table here, we've all lost over 200 pounds, which if you think over 600 pounds lost between us. So a few years ago, we wouldn't all be able to fit here in the screen if you're watching on Facebook Live.
Correct. Very true.
But now we could do it. That's one of the reasons. That's the reason why we lost the weight is really to
on your screen.
Yeah, and I've had both these guys on my podcast before. I've been on theirs, but we'll do a quick rundown, I guess, of how we got to where we are, and why we started. So I'll start with we'll do a little since he's the young one, we'll have him go first.
You want me to tell my story?
Yeah,
again?
give a little backstory, just a little quick backstory.
Beauty before age.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't know, my name is John Arpino. I used to be 510 pounds. I almost lost my life in front of my family, and I decided to change up my lifestyle. Today I'm down 272 pounds.
Wow.
And I mean, guys like Gormy, guys like Anthony are people that kept me inspired through my journey. And because of podcasts like the Fat Guy Forum and WW Bro Podcast, I've been able to kind of pave my own way and start my own podcast with my partner, the Accountable Life Group, and we're just trying to help and inspire, and hopefully someone listens to us and changes their lives.
Yeah, it's great. 270 pounds is absolutely amazing. And you said there you were fighting with possible losing your life,
right,
which is, I think, one of the reasons why everybody starts a weight loss journey to begin with, because they do fear that. But you actually had a real moment of
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had a EMT look me dead in the eye and tell me I'm so sorry as they wheeled me out of my house. So at that point, I knew I had kind of messed up.
That's crazy. I didn't have anything that dramatic. I'm down right now, currently 210 pounds. At my heaviest, I was 583. Which somebody actually posted on Facebook. I remember when you were 640. I'm like, I was never 640. Like I said what I was.
I mean,
Were you 640?
No, I was.
I'm pretty sure.
I would admit it if I was 640. I did a whole podcast where I revealed my starting weight.
How could they not know? Because you were the one that you kept your starting weight hidden from the world for a long time.
For a long time. It was
like literally. I think that's why I started following your story more, because I was like, someday we're gonna know how fat this bastard was. Someday he's gonna reveal. I mean, god damn, he will reveal it someday. I need to know.
Yes.
And then you started teasing us. You're like, when I get to this point, I will. And then it was like dancing around. And then you were like down 200, and then not down 200, and then down 200, and not. There is so much drama in your weight loss journey, and it keeps me riveted.
I like to run it like an episode of 90210. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. No, but what happened was I revealed it when I lost 200, when I first hit 200 down. And I did it because I was always ashamed of how much I weighed. And when I first went back to WW again, and they had, the books at the time, then it wasn't all on your phone. So they had the book. I look in the book and I saw 583. I was like, are you kidding me? So it was always something that I held close and was guarded about. And then I'm finally like, you know what? I'm just going to say it. Well, and I'll do it at the 2. I hit 200, and that'll be the episode. And it's my second most downloaded episode. Wow. Because when people actually DM me what was your starting weight, I just send them the link.
Such a snob.
Yeah.
That's such a great
snob.
Marketing. That is fantastic, really good. Hot linking.
It's genius.
I think the kids call that hot linking.
No, I'm not going to talk to you, but here's this link that you can find all that information out.
Yeah.
Why not?
You're lucky I even opened your DM at this point.
Well, that's like sending someone a "let me Google it for you" link. That's my favorite thing.
Gormy's, that's the best because people DM Gormy some random stuff, and he'll just be like, "Why don't you just Google that answer?"
Like, I've never heard of steak. What exactly is a steak?
Well, yeah, that's something like that, I guess. But no, it's So I joined.
I'll be right back.
I joined. We had a little technical difficulty here. The dog. But no, I joined WW back May 1st, 2017. I didn't have like a moment where I was being wheeled out. I thought I was gonna have to be wheeled out. I had like one of those meals where it was full into your throat, and I couldn't breathe, and it was just getting to the point where I couldn't walk around anymore. And I was like, I have two choices. I can either get the surgery, or I could try to do this again for the millionth time.
Man. Psh, well, easy way out.
No, I don't think it scares me. It honestly scared me always. It's surgery. They're going in and they're messing with your body.
Of course. No, listen.
John had the surgery.
I had the surgery.
John, well, we get to. I was going to get to
that's
that.
why he's mocking himself.
Yeah.
I don't want any of your people watching this live to think that John's just an
bashing.
ass.
Yeah,
no, he's not.
For other reasons.
We'll get into that later. So that's really my story. And Gormy, if you want to give a little background on you.
Well, I'll say, luckily, I have not had surgery, nor was I as massively overweight as Anthony was. I mean, you were 583 pounds. I don't think I could imagine being that heavy. I was just a scant 540 pounds at my heaviest. It was nowhere near. I mean,
wow.
I mean, I'm.
You guys make my 5'10" seem like a measly little nothing.
I am so proud that you're still here. I mean, like, I am excited for you.
I think most people are. I
mean, like,
I think his whole family is very happy.
I mean, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I was 540 pounds at my heaviest. I lost all of the weight in 2010, 2011, 2012. In 2013, May of 2013, I was 210 pounds from 540. And 6 months later, I'd gained 270 pounds back.
Say that one more time. How many months?
Actually, it was 5.5 months I gained 270 pounds, which honestly, I feel like is a Guinness record. But because I don't have a weigh-in at a doctor, it can't be proven to them. So, but I swear to God, like that's
you're definitely owed something.
I broke some land speed records there, but so I got back up into the high 400s. I think the only thing that kept me from getting to 540 or 583, was the weight. Rampant blood sugar issues going on in my body. I was clearly pre-diabetic and eventually probably full-blown untreated diabetic, and I knew I was going to die. Like all of us, I knew that was coming. I was, severely food addicted and probably still am. And decided that I wanted to live for the first time in my life, but knew that I couldn't do it the same way I did it before. And it's never, for me, I honestly believe it's not about what tool you use to lose your weight. If you don't get your head right, if you don't work on your mindset, you don't understand what's motivating you and what's driving you, and like stay focused on that. So I put that together, and I dropped the weight again, and I'm back down over down 300 pounds. But,
that's amazing.
It's absolutely wild. He went to the top of the mountain,
he's lost.
He's
the king. He's lost more than all of us.
But I mean, it's. I shouldn't have regained it in the first place. It's like honestly, like and I understand it. I get it, but it's like it's this idea that like you shouldn't have to go through it. I mean, like I discovered along the way that I had a heart attack at some point and didn't know it. I mean, crazy. Like there's all of these things going on, right. Like that we can live with, and I think that's one of the worst things. I mean, look at the fact that we're 3 people sitting here that were over 500 pounds, and we were there for a while.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you were over 500 pounds and all of a sudden you were like, holy crap, I need to do something.
I was over 500 pounds for almost 10 years. I mean, it's scary to think about that. Oh, yeah. Like, I knew I was 500 pounds probably 2010. So 7 years before I did something, I was well over 500 pounds, and I lost weight in between before. Like you're saying, you lose because you hit the nail on the head, but you never fix upstairs. Right. The head is really what you have to get the mindset done, because between 22 and 23, I dropped 150 pounds, and I was in the best shape of my life. It was the thinnest I ever was as an adult, and I never fixed upstairs, and then it just it came back on fast. I couldn't believe how fast it was coming back on, and then plus more. So I probably gained 200 pounds in less than a year.
Wow.
And then, year and a half maybe.
I mean,
Oh,
You could do it in 2 months.
I could do it.
Yeah, you could if you pushed. You could have gone a little faster.
well, you know me. I like to be lazy with it. And then I lost 100 pounds for my brother's wedding in 2011 to 12. Or it was 2011 to 12, and then I just gained that right back afterwards. I mean, it never until you fix upstairs.
You guys are making me jealous. I feel like I need to gain my weight back to lose it again.
Well, you're still young. I mean,
Yeah, let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Thanks, guys.
You got plenty of time ahead of you, boy.
let me tell you what the future holds for
I got
you.
a lot left in the
You're
tank.
doing the way I was watching you eat cheese tonight. Don't worry, it's coming. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I thought that surgery cut your stomach off.
Don't worry. Yeah. And,
5 years ago.
And that skin removal surgery is going to leave you with some hefty love handles, is all we're going to say. Because when you have the surgery and you regain the weight, it comes back in different places.
Yeah. So what I learned tonight is that
Hope I get an ass. Anyway.
bariatric surgery, cheese is the kryptonite.
Oh,
So
yeah.
no, I'm kidding. No.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's not. You're not lying.
You're not lying.
There was, I single-handedly, I think he took down about 2 to 3 pounds of cheese.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're in Rhode Island, the cheese state. No, I don't know. Is it?
No,
That's
absolutely
Wisconsin.
not.
I think
No.
that's Wisconsin.
I know. I'm just
We're in
kidding.
Providence, Rhode Island, everybody.
But
Home
yeah,
of Gormy.
we came up to Providence, Rhode Island, which everybody was asking me, like, where are you going in Rhode Island? I said, Providence. Oh, what part? Providence. I don't know. Is there different sections to Providence?
There are actually. There's many different sections.
But it's like the smallest state in the
Well,
union.
the funny thing is, so here's one of the interesting things for those people out there who don't know. So there's Providence, and when you're in Providence, there's the east side of Providence, the west side, the north side, the south side. There are 2 other cities in Rhode Island also called North Providence.
Oh.
But that is not the north end of Providence. That's
Okay.
North Providence, the city. And then there is East Providence, which is not the east side of Providence. It's another city called East Providence.
This is why it's all Providence.
It makes no sense.
So which Providence is it the Farrelly Brothers movies take place?
That's Providence proper. That would be Providence proper.
Proper.
Yeah.
Hello.
Properly in
And
Providence.
they are
Hello.
mostly filmed on the east side because that's where all the rich people live.
Oh.
Really?
Shout
'Cause
out to Brown University. If
some of their movies don't look like the rich people neighborhoods.
yeah, they're not. They're probably in the there's other hoods to film it.
All right.
But literally, you're talking about just a couple square miles. So really, is it hard to move the camera that far? No.
No, it's not.
No.
But no, it was a great drive up here, and I brought all my food too. I felt bad. You wanted to go to a restaurant and stuff, and I felt bad like I'm ruining your time.
It was cute. He ate breakfast, sitting next to me out of a little Tupperware. We had a nice time. I had a little cup of coffee. He didn't offer me any of his bacon because it was already weighed out, but it's okay.
It's waiting.
Let's be realistic. Whether
Yeah.
you brought food with you or not, you were gonna ruin today.
Okay, good. I don't want to disappoint in any
Right.
way.
Listen, I figured we were going to have a nice car ride up. We were going to talk the whole time. He sat there with a miserable puss on his face the whole ride. He
You
didn't
are
say 2
such
words.
a liar. I listened to every little story you had.
Yeah.
Now I have a question. I have a question about the car ride, and I'm sure this is
Yeah.
not what people want to know about. But how many times did John have you read his Instagram comments to him
Well,
and type replies?
that's what I was doing. That's
mean,
why I
that
put
used to be a
something.
legitimate
I'm
job.
going to need you to hold this phone, and I'm going to need you to reply to some comments.
And he's like, make sure you tell him it's J-Ops.
Yeah.
And not.
What I-
Why don't you-
and
are we
not
allowed to curse
jobs.
on this thing?
Here's
'Cause,
what you should-
we
No,
can't,
you
right?
shouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
We've done it already, like probably a
you
dozen
haven't.
times.
You
You notice
should
how I
curse.
have
I'm a truck
yet to
driver.
curse.
Be an
Because
adult.
you sweared so much on my podcast.
So much.
Sweared? Is that a word?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All I know is
Pissed.
how many
Pissed.
times today did he ask you to write a firecracker and a rocket emoji?
So many. It's on my phone permanently now, and I'm kind of upset about it.
It's like
It's in
now
your recents?
those are always going to pop up in your recents now forever.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I was gonna actually put a thing up, like when we were driving up, like I'm riding up with Jarps to Rhode Island. Over under how many times he says "cuzzy."
Listen, cuz. You better stop it right now. We're going to end this podcast.
There's a reason why I got separate rooms here. It's I got a hotel with two bedrooms.
It's really beautiful, guys. We have a nice little living room together, a fireplace.
fireplace.
We're going to put on casino later, and we're going to do each other's nails. It's going to be fun.
They're down by the airport in scenic Warwick, Rhode Island.
Oh, yes, we're in Warwick.
What
by
kind
the
of
way.
neighborhood is that?
There's a Longhorns.
Yeah, you're not. It's not. You're near the airport, so
Oh,
there's probably a lot of hookers,
Wow.
which
Yeah, listen.
knowing the
Now,
both of you,
now we're talking.
not a bad evening ahead.
Now we're having. This is gonna be a better night. We're excited about it. No, listen. That's not what I do. I don't.
You're going to kick
No.
me out of the bed for a hooker, really?
No, you could. Yeah, it's 2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms. You're in your own
I
room.
really thought that,
He's locking the door.
What do you think? One was just for the clothes and one was gonna sleep in?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
there's
that's not
a
how it
reason I got 2 rooms.
This
Oh.
isn't that kind of podcast.
Oh.
No, it's not the kind of podcast.
Keep that over on yours.
Oh, wow, my bad.
But no, but staying on track today was very important to me. So I always, when I go somewhere now, I bring all my food. I'm like a bag lady. I come with the bag of food. Do you guys do that at all, or you even like that conscious of like?
I feel in the beginning I was, because I had to bring weighed out food and stuff that I could eat. Because when I first started my journey, I still to this day don't eat bread or anything. So I had to have my little grilled chicken, my broccoli rabe. That was it. That's all I really ate was grilled chicken, broccoli rabe, and then eventually Steve got me to eat rice, which was a tooth and nail battle.
Is that your stomach can't handle it with the surgery?
It's not that it couldn't handle it. It was I got a set of rules. Before going into bariatric surgery, and it was like, don't eat carbs for a year, don't eat soda for a year,
really?
Don't do that. Yeah, so I kind of took that whole don't do this for a year almost don't do it for life. Like to this day, I still don't drink anything with bubbles in it, just because it gives me agita.
Okay, I didn't understand. Like I understand a lot of people I know that had the surgery have told me kind of like the same rules and stuff. But then like I see people that have had it, they're drinking the seltzers, they're drinking beer, they're drinking soda again. There's like your stomach after a while, it's okay to have that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, listen, just like anything else, your stomach is going to eventually re-stretch.
Yeah.
It's just natural, and that's why there is this scary thing called revision surgery. And that's why a lot of the time, instead of getting full gastric bypass, they'll start you off with the gastric sleeve. Because they're actually giving you that safety net in case you give up and you have to get revision. They can quickly turn that sleeve into a bypass.
Now, what does revision mean? Like, is it going to go back in again?
Do it again. Get it again.
That scares me. And Gormy, you went with keto. That was your.
I go keto.
Gormy,
I was trying to make
keto.
Something good on my handle, but no, keto. Yeah, no, keto's my thing. And like I spent a long time bringing my own food, and I mean, let's be honest. Like, if you're someone that really likes food, which I'm someone who really likes food, I don't think you're over 500 pounds if you don't really like food.
I think we're both all in that category.
One of the things, there probably were ways sometimes that I could have eaten the food that other people were eating, like had the right portions or whatever. But when your food is limited, especially when you're cutting calories, because that is a part of the ketogenic diet, even if people want to try to say it's not.
Right.
I want to make sure that I enjoy the food that I'm eating and that it's cooked the way I like it cooked and seasoned the way I like it seasoned. And so often I would bring my own food just to make sure that I was going to be able to hit the ingredients I wanted to hit. I don't want to, like I'm not big on seed oils and things along those lines. So I wanted to make sure it was cooked in what I wanted it cooked in. And something I've talked with, like I work as a coach now, and I've talked with a lot of my clients. I'm like, there were times where, like we're we're at my parents' house right now. There were often times where I would finish my food because I intermittent fast, and I know that's something you're doing a lot now. But I'm a little bit different with my intermittent fasting. Like I was not a wait as long in the day to eat and then kind of have a window of like noon to 6 or noon to 7 or whatever. I was more a 7 or 8 to noon. So I was eating
really?
I was, because I found for me, because one of the things that I found for me with like my food obsession was if I had more food coming later in the day, I spent the day fixated on that food coming. If I got the food out of the way, as it were, then I could focus on other things and not have that food be there. So there were times where I would have all my food eaten, and my family would call and say, oh, we're doing a big family dinner. We're all going here for dinner. Do you want to come? And I would go, and I would sit and have sparkling water with lemon or lime in it and just sit there with them and not eat. That's cool. And I think it's one of those things, like, I think one of the, not to go on a rant about it, but I think too often people are looking for a way to lose weight where they're never going to be, they expect that they're never going to be hungry.
Right.
And they expect that they're never going to want to, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And realistically, if you have weight to lose, you're going to be hungry.
Yeah.
Because as human beings, being hungry is okay.
Right.
It's just that we teach ourselves that it's not okay to be hungry, so we eat all the time.
Yeah, hunger's bad, man.
Hunger is not a bad thing. Debilitating hunger where you can't function is a bad thing. Right. Like, that's a bad thing. And you should be eating a diet that satiates you. But the idea that, it's been, 5 or 6 hours since you ate and you're getting hungry, that's not bad. That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. And see what I like about fasting, I like to eat. I eat a window usually between 11 and 6 or 7. But usually I try to cut off at 6 and get a 17-hour fast. What I like about it, though, is that, see, for me, I will eat a lot in the morning and then, and at night. So I try to cut it off from where my problem areas were. Right. So if my first meal is at 11, I'm then full. So by the time I am ready for dinner now and then I eat again, it actually can hold me then till to the next morning. And for me, though, if I cut it off at 12, that's too many hours for me that I'm awake, that I'm not eating. And not even that I'm hungry. So I'm thinking about food. I'm thinking about food. Well, yeah, because that's the food addict in me. I want to keep food in my face every 5 seconds, which is why something I never thought intermittent fasting would work for me.
Right.
But it's helped me a lot rein in that structure. And the same thing with calorie counting with it as well. You said a lot of people on keto don't monitor the calories. And it's the same thing on WW. But, I mean, weight loss is simple in the fact that it's calories in, calories out. And without a caloric deficit, you're not going to lose weight.
Right.
It's a simple thing of it.
And the thing that's interesting, like I think the thing that people don't necessarily get is, I'm not staying up as late as most people are staying up because I'm getting up to go to the gym. You know, back before COVID and everything schedules changed and everything, I was getting up at 3:45. Right. You know, I was at the gym by 4:30, so I'm going to bed 7 o'clock sometimes.
Yeah, I'd always notice you were going to bed like 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, like I was normally in bed and asleep by 8 o'clock.
Yeah, you should talk to Gormy and like 7:45. Be like, all right, bud, can't talk to you anymore. I'm going to bed now.
Yeah. What's that like going to bed that early?
It's amazing.
Is it?
Literally,
really?
It's the most amazing thing.
I have too much FOMO to go to bed that early.
What?
Way too much FOMO.
Yeah,
I don't know what FOMO is.
Fear of missing out.
I'm 47. I don't care what anyone else is doing.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm 41. I don't care what anybody else is doing either. I just watch like sports and TV. And
well, that's the thing is like and this is where people will tune out on me, but I don't really watch TV. Like I don't really watch TV.
Yeah. Well, I don't watch live
I would
TV.
say like I watched like up until COVID, I probably watched on average 2 hours of television a month.
Really?
Yeah.
I know you're a big reader.
I read and I listen to podcasts, and so I'm
not my podcast, but other podcasts.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
he only listens to his podcast. I don't know if you know that.
I also, just so you guys know, I have not listened. This is the honest.
Oh
truth.
no, I know it is.
I haven't listened to the episodes of your shows that I have been on because I hate.
I've never listened.
I don't listen to my own pod. I didn't listen to the ones I was on yours either because of that same reason.
You're not missing out on much when you're not listening to yourself, like or me.
I know they're probably the most downloaded episodes you both have. I'm just kidding.
Might have been the most back guest on Gormy's podcast at one point.
Who, yours? That was the one where you don't talk into the microphone?
No, I said
no, the one where I absolutely do not talk into the microphone.
I had decided I wanted to hurt some other people, so I made up a story that John was the most requested guest.
Oh, you made up that story?
No, I didn't make up that story. It was true.
Oh.
You were actually people when I had one time, even before we started, like, we're friends, I put up a thing who we want me on the podcast. And your name came up a bunch of times.
Really?
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll have you guys know I've never put up a poll like that a day in my life. But I did reach out to you guys to have you on the podcast.
Yes, you did.
Don't worry. You've put up a poll many times.
I put up many polls. My favorite right now is this or that. I like to do that. A lot of people like to get involved in whether you like one thing or the other.
Poll. Okay. We're just talking about that now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I
got a poll for you right now. Over his head.
It did. It went way over his head. He's young.
He's a very young man. He doesn't understand.
How late are you allowed to stay up? Like I
got permission tonight for 11:30.
Nice, okay, you're checking to see like you have a notification.
I was told I had to put him in bed by a certain time.
If
I'm babysitting him actually on this trip. That's what's going on. Yep. It's funny. I learned today also to get off the weight loss subject for a second. Everybody in his family's got a personalized license plate.
I do too, though.
You do?
I have a personalized license plate. Yeah, it's not my name. It says. Local recording style.
Yeah, okay.
So my license plate is crypto with a K because it's named after my car is named after Superman's dog,
which is awesome.
Okay.
But what I didn't realize was, cryptocurrency has become such a big thing.
Oh, so people
assume that I'm some like crypto trader. Yeah. And I'm worried about my car getting broken into. Like my shitty 2006 Chevy Aveo is going to get broken into because people think I'm rich, and I'm like, no. But I will say this is the funny thing. Every time anyone has ever mentioned my license plate, it's always been in the context of cryptographic currency or cryptogen. I don't know, whatever it is.
Right.
So I was at the UPS store the other day, and a guy came out with a hand truck to help me get some boxes. And he goes, people must ask you to buy that license plate off you all the time. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't deal in cryptocurrency. And he goes, what do you mean? I don't know what that is. And I go, well, what do you think that means? He goes, that's Superman's dog. And I was like, that is a sign that I'm doing the right thing.
There you go.
Like, that's my sign. Going to the UPS store, shipping all my stuff.
There it is.
They earn my business.
You see, I didn't even know that. Superman had a dog.
Yeah. He did.
That's crazy.
Yep.
But yours is your Instagram handle.
So yeah, my license plate is Jarp with a J. Not crypto with a K. And my mother's license plate.
He's an aspiring SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And my mother's is Mama E.
That's what
Shout
I
out
said
to Mama
him.
E if she's watching. She probably is. This is on Facebook.
Like, is that a good rap name? Is Jarp? Is that
It's
it?
J-Up. Little dash. The New York State
You know
logo
what?
is the dash.
You know what your handle reminds me of, and I don't know if you saw this movie or not. I don't know if anybody saw it. This is gonna just again prove my love for like rom-coms and chick flicks and stuff like that. And that thing you do, the name of the band is The Wonders, but originally they spelt it O-N-E, like one, like the Beatles have like beat, you know, in their name, and everyone called them the Oneaters. And to me, like when people call you, that's what I hear like when people like Jarp's Journey.
Oh, when they call
like,
me Jarps?
It's like, no, it's not Jarps.
It's not Jarps.
It's like, it's confusing.
It's not
I just
confusing. It's
assumed that
very, very easy.
When John was 510 pounds, his street name was Lil Jarps. I thought it would have been like that. I feel like that's appropriate.
Yeah.
Lil, L-I-L.
Yeah, it was Lil Jarps. Nah,
Jarps.
when I was big, though, I was Big J. I hated that.
Yeah.
I in school, I started calling myself Heavy D.
Did you? They called me Brucey because of the kid who eats the chocolate cake in Matilda. That sucked.
I don't know if you know who Heavy D is.
Of course I know who Heavy D is.
Well, listen, I don't know. I don't know.
Think that I live in a cave?
I don't know how what 90s rap you listen to, but I just started calling myself that. So it was a name that people can call me and still refer to my weight and not make up their own.
Right.
Like this way, this way it's like, okay, I got it covered already, and it's
ammunition out the gun. You can't shoot me now.
It's kind of cool because there was a rapper named Heavy D, and like so I was like, okay, it's better than whatever you're gonna come up with.
I have a picture on my Instagram of me and Little John, and I always make the caption Little John and Big John.
Yeah, I hated being called big guy.
Yeah, that's
big
annoying.
fella. Did you like that at all?
I didn't mind it.
You like
didn't mind
Cuz?
it?
Cuzzy?
Cuzzy? No, I don't like Cuzzy either. So
Well, I mean, to be fair, like I lived like as much as I knew my weight was killing me, I adopted the big guy identity. Like I liked like the thing with my friends, like they knew, like especially we're hanging out like at Tammany where we're gonna go later.
Yeah.
If another big guy came in the bar, I would be like, I need to fight that guy because this bar only can have one fat guy. You are only allowed one resident fat guy per bar, and he is not taking my spot. That bastard.
Fat guy tonight?
What?
I would love to watch you get into a fight with a fat guy tonight.
Well, I mean, if you push your luck, I'm going to get into a fight with you.
Throw down anytime you want there.
Big J. Big J.
Big OG.
let me see what you learned in wrestling school.
Come here, kid.
That sounds more like a conversation the two of you are going to have later. To be
Probably.
honest with you.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like, we're gonna be laying this by 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, Jarp.
Well, no, I think
Jarp, are you awake?
You awake,
Not
Jarp? Show me a
talk about Slamboree 97?
I want to know what an arm part feels like.
Oh God, this went dark fast. To take away, like to take it back to the topic at hand.
Yeah.
Is there really a topic at hand?
I think I was bullied so harshly in grammar school, like in like my younger years up until 7th grade, like so very harshly. Like there was, and the funny thing is, like there was a ring of bullies in my Catholic school.
Wow.
They were led by a girl. And so every time I would go to the principal or my teacher and say that I was getting bullied, they would basically say, "You're going to let a girl push you around?" And that was the response.
Yes.
Well, here's the story where it takes a little bit of a twist. She eventually got kicked out of school for threatening a teacher with violence. And 4 months after that was arrested because she attempted to kill her mother.
Oh my God.
So
did you ask the teacher how you going to let a little girl bully you? After
no, that's what the teacher said to me.
I know, but did you
throw it back at them?
I should have.
That's what you should have
But
done.
I wasn't smart enough at that point. No, so by the time we moved when I went into 8th grade, and I decided when I went into 8th grade that like I was going to not let that happen.
Right.
So I just embraced being at that point I embraced being bigger. I embraced what I was doing, like it was what it was.
I don't feel like you really had a choice though.
Well, I mean, yeah, like I don't think it ever was something that I did my best to not let it hold me back. I ran for class office. I did all of those things. Like it was like, okay, this is just going to be a part of who I am. Like, and like I know, like you and I have talked about this, Anthony. Like, if you make the joke first, other people can't make the joke. You take the power away.
Right.
So I got really good at making the joke first. I was going to make the jokes about what I was eating and my size and the fat guy walking into the bar, like all of that. So.
Well, you see the thing, like you said about the bullying, and I think maybe that's why. I mean, I always lived like I was the big guy and I accepted that role, but I was more sensitive about it because I was never bullied that bad. Like of course I get kids make jokes and this and that, but it wasn't
you're a lucky one, huh?
Yeah, I really I was because and maybe one of the things is that I had a sharp tongue where like if somebody said something I had to come back for it.
Of course.
But I just I played sports. I was good at sports. My brother likes to point out I wasn't as good as him, but whatever.
Never had the makings of a varsity.
I never had the makings of a varsity athlete. And my brother, you ask him to this day, he thinks he is he'll say it. He's the greatest Little League baseball player of all time.
Wow.
I mean, I've actually heard that.
You've heard that. And here's the thing. People have actually. Oh, you guys, move your truck. Come on. What's going on with you? You don't know where to park the car.
Ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of a break from Big J.
Yeah, so I'll tell the story about my brother.
Yeah.
So let's put it down on the table there.
Just
Lightly. There we go.
put it down.
So my brother's wife was going somewhere. I forget what it was, and she's like, "DiDomenico, are you? Is it Mike DiDomenico? Any chance?" She's like, "Yeah, it's my husband." He goes, "He's like the greatest Little League baseball player of all time." So it's actually documented. But like, when I'm getting back to my point, is that I never really had that bullying situation where I had to develop like a thick skin. Mm-hmm. So I'm still very sensitive about it to this day, and I think that's one of the reasons why when it came to announcing my starting weight, I was so guarded with it.
Right.
Because like you almost like it's like this is it. This is who I am, and I weigh this amount, and there's nothing. Who cares? But to me, it was always that thing where I was like, it was a shield, and I never wanted anybody to know because I was embarrassed by it.
Oh, I understand, and that's like I think like you're saying the difference. Like if you go to my Instagram account now, and it's about like my weight loss journey and health and helping people. But if you scroll back on that same account 3 years, 4 years, it's a very different page.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a sideshow of like what my fat life was like. It was very much about, kind of pushing back against people and pushing buttons and telling fat jokes and, putting it out there so that, other people wouldn't be able to come at me about it because I was coming at it first. Like it was like that was the identity. And the funny thing is like I have a lot of people following me who were following me then.
Okay.
And some of them actually have said they followed me then with like a morbid curiosity to see how long I was going to live, to see if I wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
Like they were kind of like, you're probably going to die. But it also like that's why like I post wild before pictures. I have some pretty like insane.
You have the best before picture because you actually took some great pictures. Like the one I like is always the one with the cake on your face.
Oh yeah.
Or where you're sitting there with the cake on your stomach.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, these are pictures you took. Like you actually choose to take these pictures. And again, now you have them for that reason, which is, did you know you were going to do that, or is that?
Well, I posted them on Instagram. Those are all pictures that I posted.
Oh,
on
those
my
are
account.
pictures. Those are pictures you just took.
No, yeah, they
okay.
weren't before pictures that I staged. Like those were pictures I took and posted on Instagram. My account used to be called Gormandizer because my last name's Gorman, and the word Gormandize means to eat voraciously. So I felt like it was perfect.
I see you got big words there. I don't know what that means.
It's very much.
Very
I had to look it up. I didn't know that that's what it meant. Actually, it was someone else. One of my friends was like, the word Gormandize means to eat voraciously. That sounds like you, and like that's where like that handle came from. But yeah, like I said, my account was very different. It was very much like this is what I'm doing. Am I getting 4 Big Macs tonight? So you're going to see a picture of 4 Big Macs.
Yeah, like you got like the pictures are insane. The ones you took, and it's great because you have those before pictures. But like you're saying about the whole thing, people followed you to see if you were going to live.
Right.
With the comics, a lot of the comics would like joke around, like, I got him for 38 or 39. And like in my 41st birthday, one of my best friends, comedian John Ziegler, sent me a text message. I just lost more money, because I hit 41. So it's like, we can joke about it. And comics always do. We joke about the sickest things. I was actually telling John some of the things that people said in green rooms on the way up. But it's true. It's like, you kind of build that wall, and like you built your wall was that, okay, I'm going to own it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put it out there. And what are you going to say? I'm here taking a picture with 4 Big Macs.
Right. Like
I like that. Yeah, I'm.
There's literally nothing you could say to me to shame me. Like there's no way to fat shame me when I'm taking a picture.
Yeah, it can't be. Hey, you're that fat because you eat 4 Big Macs.
I'm balancing a pumpkin pie on my stomach and taking a picture. It's more like, I think the reaction people have is more like, okay, that happened.
Likes that pumpkin pie.
Oh wow, that. And the funny thing is now, like when I post that picture, people, because I've shared it a couple times, people will be like, "Is that pumpkin pie? Did you eat the whole pumpkin pie?" Because I've just always dreamt of having my own pumpkin pie, and I'm like, you did fat wrong if you never had your own pumpkin pie.
Did you tell this story while I was out in front about the whole Thanksgiving dinner that you once made yourself with desserts?
No, I didn't
that's
tell
my
that story.
favorite story of all time. Please tell it.
It is a good story.
So very quickly, elevator speech. This one for you guys. The Thanksgiving dinner is my favorite meal of the year, and when I was younger. And my parents hosted Thanksgiving. My mom hosted Thanksgiving. There was always those great leftovers around. And then, families changed, things split up, dinners happen in different places, and I just didn't have those leftovers around. And so I missed them to the point that I had started this tradition of cooking Thanksgiving dinners for myself. And it started with just like making, copying a couple recipes. And I had one year where I was working as a residence hall director at a college, so I was required to be on campus for duty for the day after Thanksgiving, so there was actually like a college official around. And I decided that was the day I was going to make my own Thanksgiving feast. So I cooked a 7-pound turkey. I made mashed potatoes, a 5-pound bag of mashed potatoes.
Yes, he did.
I made a full recipe of my stepmother's meat stuffing. I made a full recipe of my grandfather's bread stuffing. I made buttered corn. I made green bean casserole. I made sweet potatoes with marshmallows. I made homemade bread and gravy. And I made 2 pies. And from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till the time I went to bed, I ate the entire thing.
All of it.
All of it. The whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, like you said before, if you were never fat unless you sat down with a pie and a fork. Right. I mean, because I've done that too in the past. Like it's like you go to the store, you get a cake or pie of your choosing, and you just open the box and you just sit there and then
indulge.
Most of the time it was in my car because then I'm not going to throw it out at home.
Pie.
I think food to me, that was my secret spot.
Oh yeah.
Was the car, especially when I was in relationships and actually I lived with somebody at one point. My health was always in question not because they wanted me to lose weight for the physical, because they fell in love with me as I was a big guy. That wasn't the issue. The issue is now we're building a life, and are you going to be around for that? And I want you around. That's why they wanted me to get healthy. So at one point, my ex when I was living with her, she was making me like food. She'd make me like really healthy lunches and food, and I would eat that, but also the place next door, I would order they had rainbow cookie cake. I'm like, can you send that over? And they're like, a piece? I'm like, no. I mean, I want to take it home. And during the day, I would just be cutting away at that pie or milkshakes or burgers. And then I would get home from work and I wouldn't be hungry because I literally ate my whole day at work. And she's like, how are you hungry? I sent you with a sandwich and an apple. And you had the food I sent you with, you should be very hungry at this point. You should be hungry at this point. Now it's time to eat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just full. Maybe it's working.
Yeah,
maybe
it's working. That sandwich and that apple were very.
Yeah, it's
I
delicious.
don't know what you did in that sandwich.
The turkey, the protein in that was absolutely amazing.
Why is there frosting on your eyebrows? I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea.
But no, you're right. I think you're right. It's like that idea. I'm very much I've talked to a lot of guys on my podcast who are not sneak eaters. Are not the kind of the hidden eaters, but I loved. Yeah. There was nothing I loved more than that sneak eating. When I turned 16, being able to
drive,
drive my car, go to a drive-through, all of those things. And there are even some, what's it called, bakeries here in Providence that I would order a cake and have them write something on it for someone.
Oh, that's
I wanted
genius.
that cake.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would do the whole, walk up to the front of the line and pretend that I was getting other people's orders together as I rambled off, what I wanted off the value meal and whatnot. Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're recording, so you can
we're
talk.
Recording. Come on.
Oh, I apologize.
Do you want me to go check and see if something's wrong with it?
No, we just keep going. It's going to come back up.
I hope it comes back.
Well, if it doesn't, but just keep talking in the podcast.
Well, we should talk.
We should talk. So I would go to McDonald's or Taco Bell, and I would order 7, 8 different things and act like I was trying to remember everyone else's order that I was supposedly going to hang out with. When really I was ordering $38 of Taco Bell just for myself, and then sitting in my car in the parking lot alone. And I remember I would drive under. So in the Taco Bell parking lot, there was a big light, big lamppost, and I would park 2 spots over from that. Because you couldn't see inside the car then. And I would just sit and I would stuff my face with as much Taco Bell as humanly possible, dust off all the crumbs, hop out the car really quick, do a little shake off, get back in the car, and then drive home, and then probably hit the snack drawer as soon as I got home.
Understood. I mean, I've told the story many times on my podcast and other shows, driving to dinner with the family one night.
Right.
I ate 8 Big Macs in the car on the way.
8 Big Macs?
8 Big Macs, huh?
Yeah,
I've never had a Big Mac.
It was on a dare, and I was on my way to dinner with the family, and I wanted to make sure I had enough food. So I decided I was going to. And this was also back when you could get 2 Big Macs, I think, for $3 was the sale they did.
Right.
So it was really not spending as much money as you might think. But for me, and that I'd love to say that was the only time that I got 8 Big Macs, but it wasn't. Do you want me to go check the router?
I guess you want to check the router. Yeah, at this point.
I'll be back.
Okay, so okay, here we go. All right, so I'm sorry if we're
having some technical difficulties here, folks. You know, I'm just going to take you through. This is John Arpino talking now. I got Anthony sitting to the right of me, and he's really trying to figure out what's going on here with this internet.
It's back.
The soundboard.
No, okay,
everything's going really well.
No, it's the internet here in the house we're having issues with.
Is it up here at all?
I mean, I can always just turn my phone into a hotspot.
If you're listening at home,
I'm really sorry that this is going on right now. I think Anthony just broke a sweat, and
yeah. So I'm probably going to edit this out when I do the pod. I never edit anything out, but I'm definitely going to edit this part out just because we're trying to get back on live here. But like like I said, sneak eating was my thing,
right?
And it almost felt like my
thing.
High. It was a high. It was like, and I explained it to people as, you know, what food addiction is. It is like a drug addiction,
right?
It is, you know, and people will throw that to the side, like, no, it's not. You don't have to eat. You know, you don't have to eat like that. Like, no, I don't have to eat like that.
No, but
I have to eat.
Right.
So food became like my drug, and I really attribute it to when people, you know, go like to a place and they're getting, you know, whatever they're on there, if they're taking, you know, heroin or cocaine, and they're you know, then they go to their place and they do that. That's what food was for me. Parking lots. Oh, yeah. I would go to any abandoned place. I don't want even people around me.
Oh yeah, no, that was embarrassing. That's why I wouldn't park under a lamppost.
Even strangers I didn't want around me. I just wanted to be in. And then, you know, it was great when we got smartphones.
Yeah.
Because then I'd sit in a place and I'd watch movies and I'd watch like TV and I would be like in heaven.
Yeah. Absolutely, dude. When the WWE Network came out, I was the happiest person in the world. I would go and get food and sit in my car all by myself and watch old 90s wrestling and not a care in the world and just sit there.
Yeah. And I think that's really what and I still have that. Like, I still want to, like, eat in my car, and I still want to, like, every time I get my car, I have that urge to, like, pop off somewhere and just be like.
Well, I think that, honestly, like, that speaks to something that I think is a big problem that happens in the weight loss space is there are people out there that will say it's possible to make those behaviors and those desires for those behaviors to go away.
Right.
And I don't think we ever 100% eliminate cravings. I don't think we eliminate those old behaviors.
No.
I think what happens is we get better at acknowledging what they are for ourselves.
Yes.
And we build better mechanisms coping with them.
I agree.
We build better skills at handling the situations that we normally would use those tricks and things. So we would go to those behaviors.
It's all about.
But it doesn't mean that they go away.
No, they don't go away. Because I mean, and I think for a while this is why I kind of got stuck. I'm just coming out of like a year-long plateau, and you know, like my buddy who is John Z, I mentioned before, he's a personal trainer, and you know, he knows a little about nutrition, and he said at 583, all you had to do was cut your foot a little bit and wiggle your feet, and you would have lost weight. I mean, that's really basically at that point. And it got to a point where I lost 200 pounds, and then I was kind of still eating the same calories and everything else, and I had the knee injury, and so I really didn't reduce my calories. And then when COVID hit, what that part of the plateau was, I started trying to get creative with my food. Like, and you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that, you know, I like to make things look like it was.
I don't know if I follow you.
Well, if you ever do follow me, go back
you really
and look
should check
a
out his page. Sometimes it's good.
But I do make food like that I would like chicken parm or pancakes, and I make a healthier version. Now, a lot of the times to get these things to that thing, you have to add a lot of stuff, even though it's not points, it's still calories. Right. So now, if you notice, since I've been doing I've incorporated into my WW plan macro counting and calorie counting and intermittent fasting, my food is sometimes boring, so to speak. And I'm now coming to grips with, and I'm trying to where food is my fuel.
Yes.
You know, to fuel me to that next thing. So my meal that I really get creative with is breakfast, and everything else is just, it's time to eat, and I eat, and I'm to tell you the truth, I'm not bored. As boring as it is, I'm not bored with it.
Right.
Because I like to see that scale go down, and I like the results.
You have a goal. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, that's why it makes it easier, and that's a big proponent as to why bariatric surgery worked for me in the long run, because it actually, like Anthony just said, it taught me that food is fuel. And just like any fuel you put in your car, if you put bad fuel in your car, you put diesel in a gasoline car, it's not going to go. So you're not going to get to that end point. So it's not even about the food being boring. Once you take the enjoyment, I never want to say you want to take enjoyment out of food, but once you take away that spectacular aura away for a little bit, and you realize that you're eating this food so you could get through the rest of your day.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a bit easier. It cuts that edge off a bit.
And I think what the difference is, and the difference in perspective is, and I think all three of us would say this, like, we used to use food as entertainment.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Food was the fun. Food was the entertainment. There's a difference between that and between seeing food as fuel that can be enjoyed. And I think that's the perspective. Like, it's one of those things, like when I first started working with my coach, who I actually now work with as a coach, he said to me in one of our first conversations that one of my goals for you is that I want you to start seeing food as fuel that can be enjoyed, not as enjoyment. And I laughed at him, and I said, buddy, I don't ever see that happening. Right. I don't ever think that will happen. And then probably about 6 or 7 months in, I was having a conversation with someone on Instagram, and I said to them, you need to get to a place where you see food as fuel that can be enjoyed and not as your sense of enjoyment. And I immediately said to myself, God damn it, he's right.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm saying it to other people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
man.
and I realized, like, I believe that. Like, I honestly think it's okay to enjoy the taste of your food.
Yes.
But not to have food be the celebration. Like, and that's something that I've come around to. Like, I don't mean to monopolize this point, but one of the things that, like, I think I've learned is really important is that, like, societies would not exist as they are right now if we didn't come together over food.
Exactly.
Like, people came together in the beginning in tribes to
Yeah.
find food. Like, there's a primal instinct of sharing a meal, and there is something to be said about traditions where we share meals with our families. But there's a difference between sharing a meal with your family and focusing on that meal being the most important part of it.
Well,
it's the time with the people that's the most important.
That's now what I've realized, that I've made holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas. But, me and John, we grew up in Italian households.
Yeah.
Where food is the celebration.
And food is the answer to everything.
Like, birthday, it's your birthday, here's lasagna. And I came to, like, on my birthday, I'm like, I'm getting lasagna.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Or your great aunt died. We have to make that dish that she made forever because, she's dead. We're never going to have it again.
And I knew for my birthday every year my grandma was, and I look forward to that on my birthday more than presents at some points. Was that I know that Sunday, either right before or after my birthday, my grandma's making lasagna.
Yep.
And that became like a big thing for me. And holidays are always about the food. What are we making? What are we doing?
Right.
So I then had to turn holidays, and I make it about, because this Christmas and Thanksgiving, I will allow myself to enjoy the food that's there that day. And it's one day and it's over.
Right.
Because in the past, it was always like, well, it's until these leftovers are gone. It's a free-for-all. But like other holidays like Easter and things like that, it is about, and even Christmas is too, it's about the people that are there. And it's about spending time with people that, you care about. And it's about that to me, that's what Christmas is more about now. And even like those kind of holidays. And like I said, I'm not using food to celebrate. I'm celebrating with people, and food's there.
Mm-hmm.
Just so happens food made an appearance. Yeah.
And like, we did that. And even on weight loss journeys, we want to celebrate with food.
Always.
I remember when I was a kid and I did WW, the thing was like, when my aunt was like, well, when you lose 10 pounds, you and Uncle Joe should go have a donut together.
Right.
And it's food celebratory. And I got to that, like, everybody's like, what are you going to eat when you hit 200? That was the thing. What is the meal you're going to have? I'm like, no, I don't want a meal when I hit 200.
Right.
I've had my meals.
Exactly.
I actually bought an expensive cigar, and I went and I smoked that cigar. And to me, that was by myself celebrating. But when I lost weight the first time, back when I was in my 20s, when I hit 75, Taco Bell was my celebration.
Okay.
And I think that's the difference now, is that I'm not letting it be that, that it's a celebratory thing where it's like, this is my reward.
Right.
Because I'm not an animal. I'm not going to, I sit and you
course.
give me a treat. That's not, that's not what's happening now. And like, again, this trip here, like, I wanted it to make it about, we're hanging out with Gormy. He's leaving.
Yeah.
We all know each other on Instagram. To me, it's not about food. It's about, hanging out and enjoy, doing the podcast and other things like that. But think about it, a couple of years ago, we could have had a real good time.
Oh, yeah, no, without a doubt.
Well,
without a shadow
I
of a
think
doubt.
like that's one of the things, like, because that's a question I think we all get a lot, is like, so do you have cheat meals? When can I have a cheat meal? Like, I think it's this idea that, like, and like you started to hit on it, Anthony, like, we don't ever earn food.
No.
We make choices about food.
Exactly.
And I think there's also a point where, like, we're, all at different places, like, in terms of where we're at in our weight loss journeys, and, like, have come through to different places, kind of different points in our journey.
Right.
And so, like, I feel like there's a point where I'm at this place now where if I want to eat something that's not keto and I'm choosing to eat it, I'm making a conscious choice to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm conscious of what the consequences of that choice are, how I'm going to feel the next day, all of those things.
Yeah.
And I can be okay with that. And it can be a moment that's worth it. And that's the question that I throw out there a lot. Like, is that moment worth it? Because I have a client who very early on, like literally within probably 4 or 5 days of us starting working together, she said, okay, I'm running into a problem. One of my family parties is this weekend, the birthday party, and there's going to be cake at it. And it's a birthday, so I have to have cake. And I said, here's something I need you to remember. Cake is not going anywhere.
Right. No, it's always been around.
Cake will always be there. So is that cake from the supermarket worth? I literally said to her, I said, who's making the cake? And she said, well, we're getting it from the supermarket. I said, so you're telling me that a supermarket sheet cake is worth you throwing away the progress you've made over the past 4 days? Right. Is it?
No.
And she said, well, it's because we're supposed to have cake at this party. And I said, well, let's think about this. Like, cake is always going to be there.
Right.
And I want you to think about what you want your choice to be. Like, this isn't your mother is making you a cake for your birthday.
Yes.
From scratch that is the only one time a year this cake exists. You're never going to have it again. Because I had that same conversation with my coach when we were talking about, like, what does maintenance mean for me and what does that look like? And because one of the things before COVID was I was planning to go to Europe this year. I was planning to go to Ireland and I was going to go to Paris because I wanted to go to Disneyland Paris. And I said to him, one of the things I will probably do is if I stand in front of one of the best bakeries in the world in Paris, and I can go into the best bakery in the world and get a croissant. I'm going to get a croissant.
Absolutely.
If I went to Italy, I was going to have pasta.
Right.
Yes.
Because those are experiences that are different than me going into my kitchen and making a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you can always have that.
Right, and it's the fact that food isn't going somewhere.
Right.
So if you're at a place where your goals are more important than those choices, let your goals be more important than those choices. Don't let anyone make you feel bad because you're not having cake at a birthday party. No. Don't let anyone make you feel bad because you're not having Aunt Zelda's creamed corn at Thanksgiving. Like and this is the thing that I think is really hard.
No one should dictate to you when or how you should eat because of a given circumstance.
And like honestly, like I've had to have the conversation with people where they say, well, this person made this, so you should have some of this. And I said, I just point blank said to them, I was killing myself with food. And you want me to eat some of the food that I was killing myself with. That's more important to you than that's what's most important to you about this event instead of me being there.
That's their own thing there. And like for my birthday this year, it was right at the beginning of when I started doing like my macros and my intermittent fasting and calorie counting. And I chose on my birthday not to have cake because one, I wanted to hit my targets, and two, it was after 6 o'clock when I stopped, or 7 o'clock when I stopped eating. So that weekend I chose not to do anything because I knew what was more important to me was that when I stepped on the scale Monday, I wanted a loss because it was so long where I was struggling to even get a little bit of a loss.
Right.
So my mini goal that I gave myself was 210 down, which I'm at now because I was like, when I hit 210 down, that if I have a week where I go up a couple of pounds, it's not the end of the world, and it's never the end of the world, but that 200 mark was such a glass ceiling for me. Like I hit it and then I couldn't get past it. And the furthest I got past it was like 202. So I wanted to be like, okay, if I get to 210, that if I have a week where the scale just doesn't want to cooperate with me, I'm still way above that 200 mark where I'm okay.
Right.
And I hit that. And to me, that means more to me than having a piece of cake. Yeah. Now, as much as I love Carvel cake.
Really? That's what you like?
the whale.
I love the crunchies, all vanilla with crunchies.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. But I know how much I love that. But guess what?
It's always going to be there.
That Carvel, it's still there.
Right.
It's still, I can go there whenever I want, and I can get cake with crunchies. Now, if it was back in the day as my mother's blueberry crumb, all right, we might have a different.
Well, the famous question I have now, I haven't had a real slice of pizza from a pizzeria or anywhere like that in 5 years.
17 years.
So 5 years. No. So. No, yeah, he's breaking my chops.
It's been 84 years.
No, it's been 5 years. So originally, when I started this whole I'm not having pizza thing, the last slice of pizza that I had was 2 days before I had bariatric surgery. Now, one, I was not even supposed to eat then.
Right? If they would have found out, the whole surgery would have been absolutely canceled. All right.
It's spies like Jarp is eating pepperoni pizza in his car, in his sports car, that Anthony can't fit in. But I'm kidding.
Really? You want to go there right now?
We're gonna go there
after the story.
After the story, we'll talk about
just a tad of respect.
Sorry.
Can I go back now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I decided to have a pizza 2 days before my surgery, and I told myself, listen, this is going to be the last time that you have pizza for the foreseeable future, okay? Whether you like it or not, okay? I've never talked to myself like this before, ever. I had that man-to-man, heart-to-heart, like it's over. Originally, I had made the goal, if you get down to 260, you can have a slice of pizza. 260 came, and I was like, do I really need this slice of pizza? I've had pizza, for the last 22, 23 years of my whole entire life. This pizza's not going anywhere. The pizzeria that I get the pizza from, it's not going anywhere.
Took the power away from it.
Yeah, I took the absolute power away from the pizza. So 260 came, I didn't have the pizza. To this day, I still haven't had a real slice of pizza.
Now, do you have a craving for it?
I have a craving for it. Originally, it was very hard to be around my family if they ordered in pizza.
Okay.
It was extremely hard to sit at the table or even be in the house. Now they'll order pizza, and I'll have cauliflower pizza while they have regular pizza.
Yeah, I'm the same
or
way.
I'll have Quest pizza. You know what I'm saying? Like, the urge isn't there. There was one point in time where I was like, oh, well, if I just eat the cheese off that slice of pizza, it's just the cheese. There's nothing wrong with that. But, I never gave myself that, okay, you could do it. Because I knew if I said, okay, you can take the cheese off, well, then that little cheese off was going to be, oh, you can have a little bite of crust.
Right.
Or, you could just fold it a little bit and have a little bite. No. So I took the power. Like you said, I took the power away from the pizza. I had enough of it.
See, I do not necessarily a cheat day, but I have on Mondays after I weigh in. If I want something, I have it.
Right.
And most times I do. But it's not to reward myself. It's just, you know what? It's just I track everything. It goes into my thing, and I know I have a week. Then
what do you use, MyFitnessPal?
I use WWM. I double track.
You do?
Yeah. I have no life. This is basically what I
double tracker, huh?
Double tracker.
Double tracker.
Well, I like to see
Charlie Beeps.
I like to see also in the both apps. It kind of gave me an education on where I was going wrong.
Right.
Now, on WW, I'm on the green plan, and it gives me 70 points a day for my height, weight, my age, and everything else, 70 points a day. With the double tracking, I've realized I use 35, maybe 40. Mm-hmm. So that, to me, is...
And that's because you're getting more precise measurement because you're putting it into MyFitnessPal?
Not even that. No, I'm eating 1,800 calories a day, up to 1,800 calories a day.
Right.
And I'm hitting a macro, and I'm hitting my macro goals. But when those 1,800 calories are up, that's it.
Right.
Like there's no more food coming in, and it usually is anywhere from 30 to 40 points.
Right. So you still have allotted points that you didn't use.
And if I was just doing that, that's where I went wrong sometimes. I'm like, oh, I can. Because people are always like, well, just eat higher point foods. I'm like, yeah, those higher point foods have more calories.
Calories, right? They're more caloric.
And I've talked about this more now in the open about how I feel that's where WW is a little more flawed. And that maybe, I know you said, but I'm just, listen, I'm.
They were down, Big J.
Sorry.
I know. Listen, I love WW. I love
it's a great program. It is.
Well, I love the community. I love everything about it. Saved my life. But in anything, there's flaws and there's things that could be different, and I am not blaming them for it. It's it got me to lose 200 pounds.
Right.
Now, in anything in life, the longer you do something, the harder it is to keep doing it.
Right, of course.
Like you look at athletes, like the thing for an athlete, the longer they play, the more their body is not to that capability, but they have to then become a smarter, like Jordan, they always said was a smarter player in his 30s than his 20s. Right. And you saw that on the court. And believe me, my Knicks, I lived through that every year. And so what I'm thinking now, I'm becoming more smart with weight loss, and it's not just about the physical and just tracking a point.
Right.
I'm now trying to understand the science and the breakdown of the food I'm putting into my body for my long-term health and my long-term weight loss goals. So that's where I think it's different, and I hope one day that WW doesn't incorporate macros into it because that'd be awesome.
Oh, you're saying you hope they do? Yeah, absolutely.
Why not? Why not enter why not put that as part of it? Why? And I understand that they're trying to be more of an overall wellness thing, which I think is a great step because attacking the mindset, which we talked about earlier, was never there. I mean, when it was Weight Watchers, it was just, track your points and drink your water.
I just feel like they don't supply enough knowledge to the consumer as to why a food is such and such points and what it will do to your body, et cetera, et cetera. Because I feel like a normal, everyday 500-pound person is not hopping on, WW to try to lose 300 pounds.
Yeah, but you know what, though?
And I'm not bashing. I don't want you to think that I'm bashing.
No, but at that weight, I didn't have. It was enough for me just to track my points.
Right.
Yeah. And I think when you're starting out, it really
enough,
was.
yeah.
It took everything for me to do that.
Without a doubt.
And then because I didn't start, and when I worked out, the workouts I did were more simple and everything like that. And as you go on, you have to add more things to it. But I think in a perfect world, it would have every aspect of it, because I've taken the best parts of all these programs and I've made it into my own.
Right.
And if that means that I'll never be an ambassador or whatever, fine. That's not my goal. My goal is never to be an ambassador. My goal is to be healthy and be alive and be here, and I'll do whatever it takes to get that.
I think that's a way better goal than becoming an ambassador.
Well, I mean, I want to just tell. I would like to be an ambassador because I'd like to tell people how great this program has saved my life.
Yeah.
And
let your progress be.
My progress is my page is public.
Yeah.
You want to see what I'm doing?
Exactly.
There it is. Podcast is public. It's there's other ways to get about it, but of course I would just it was a goal of mine when I first started.
I feel you.
Just to have that title, because it was like maybe that just recognition. It was like they go, here, thank you for taking our program and running
seriously
with it.
and
yeah. So
exactly.
but again, it is what it is, and I'll move forward.
Can I share something with you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Please do.
What did I have for dinner last night?
I don't know.
What did you have for dinner last night? I know what you had for dinner
along
tonight.
with what the conversation that you guys were just having.
Ice cream cake?
Ice cream cake?
I had pizza.
Did you? Like real pizza?
I had real pizza.
Really? What was that like?
It was amazing.
Yeah. I thought you had skillet pizza.
No, not last night.
Oh.
There's a pizza place in Providence that I will never
ever
be
see
able
again.
to go to again. So Fellini's Pizza, they're phenomenal.
Oh.
I've actually had some of their pizza on my journey, along the way, like when I was testing, like how do I handle stuff like that, and I know I can handle it.
Oh, I remember when you did that.
It was one of those things where I was like, what do I want to have before I leave? I want to have another piece of pepperoni pizza from them. I want that experience. So I had.
So how'd you go into it? You gave yourself the leeway of having 1 slice, 2 slice. What did you?
I had 2 slices of pepperoni pizza and some chicken tenders.
Very cool.
Chicken in the air fryer, like chicken breast, because I knew I needed more protein. The pizza was going to be plenty of fat and carbs.
Totally get that. As far as like never going to have something.
Yeah,
again.
I mean, like it was just like it was, and for me in that moment, it was something I wanted to do. Like it wasn't like.
And
it wasn't. I didn't sit in my car and eat pizza from a box, like that kind of thing. Yeah. Like I've done many, many times. Like it was a conscious choice, and I'm like, okay, this is something I'm going to do before I go.
I had pizza a couple weeks ago on Monday after work one day. I'm like, you know what? I was like one of the things where I was like dying for it.
Right.
And I went and I got 2 slices of pizza, and like the same thing. I didn't eat it in my car. I came home and ate it like at the table with like a normal person. And I tracked it, and I weighed it, and it was my food, and that was, it was a lot of points. It was almost 20 points for the 2 pieces of pizza.
What is it now?
It goes by the gram. I weigh by the gram always.
I weigh a lot of things by the gram.
Me too.
Not anymore, but but yeah. So it was almost 20 points of pizza, but I had it. Yeah, I had it, and it was, and that was it. And you know what? Honestly, it's never as good as you build it up in your head.
Well, that's also what my fear is of stepping back into that zone and having pizza, because
my pizza was as good as I built it up to be. Oh,
because I feel like
completely as good as I built it up to be.
Oh, it was delicious, but
I'm saying
I had in my head, I don't know what it was going to take. It was going to be like the be all and end all. I'm like, it's really good pizza.
Yeah,
and
I may have cried a little bit.
Did you?
But you know what though? If there's an attachment to it where I'm leaving. Like, and here's the thing. I'm not just saying it because my brother's deli. Finn's Deli, 46 Micro Mass Speaker.
Available for takeout right now.
Yeah. Grubhub, everything.
Grubhub.
But my brother makes, and I'm not just saying it because he's my brother, he makes a phenomenal egg sandwich. Like, it's like.
Is it?
Hands down, it's one of the best egg sandwiches I ever had. And back when I was eating like a champ, my dad used to call it the heart attack on the roll. Me and him used to get it. It was bacon, egg, sausage, ham, salt, pepper, ketchup.
Okay.
It's amazing.
What kind of cheese do you like on your bacon, egg, and cheese?
American.
I'm in for this.
Go on.
So
American cheese,
cheddar.
Woo!
Cheddar cheese.
Not on an egg sandwich.
All the time.
You're
American
plain bagel,
American cheese
bacon,
on a burger,
sausage, egg, cheddar
better.
cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup on 2 plain bagels.
Okay. Over easy egg with a slice of American cheese on top of it.
Yeah,
nothing.
It's amazing. American cheese goes with eggs. I love cheddar. Don't get me wrong. But
Cheddar's better.
Cheddar's for other things. So if
Cheddar has its place.
let's say if I was leaving Long Island,
You should.
and I wouldn't have my brother's deli for a while, I was like, you know what? One for the road, and I get that. And again, it's not using it to celebrate. We're not contradicting ourselves or being hypocrites like people probably go, oh, look at them. They just say it's not about that. Right. It's about I'm not going to have this anymore. I want to have it, but we're at the point now where we can have it and walk away. And
you're allowed to be a person.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, you're still a living, breathing, organism that is going to want and need and yearn for something. But at the same time, you have to be able to know when it's wow.
There we go.
Shout out to the deli.
Shout out to Finn's Deli.
Shout out to Finn's Deli. Grubhub.
Kevin
Seamless.
says it's definitely the best. I've had 3 sandwiches this week from his deli. There you go.
Hey, there you go.
I like it.
That's awesome. Make sure you say Anthony's name at the door. They'll tell you to get out.
Well, you can get a sandwich that's actually named after him.
Yeah, the Uncle Cheese.
You can get the Uncle Cheese,
Yeah.
which is not the sandwich I wanted.
Right.
47 slices of American cheese.
No,
on a poppy seed roll.
The sandwich is hand-carved turkey, cheddar cheese, avocado, ranch dressing.
Avocado ranch, not avocados and ranch.
Avocados and ranch.
Oh, okay.
Now, the sandwich I wanted was the sandwich I always got was egg whites, grilled chicken, salt, pepper, ketchup on a whole wheat hero roll.
Oh, that's
everyone's like, it's boring.
That's
stupid.
That's
boring.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm with your brother on that.
Yeah.
I'm with your brother.
So when he finally gave me, I was just so happy I had a sandwich because it was like 5
you made
years.
it now. You're famous. You have a sandwich made after you. You don't have to do
I'm
anything
his
anymore.
brother, and like his friends have sandwiches. I understand his wife's got a sandwich.
Well, I hope so.
Obviously, because he has his wife, but then his friends got sandwiches. I'm like, well, come on. And I'm like, he's like, go give me a sandwich. Give me a sandwich. Where's it gonna be? I said, well, this one, the salt, pepper with the
same thing. I go in your deli and order every day.
He's like,
salt and pepper on a piece of wheat toast.
He's like, it's gross. It's gross and stupid. Nobody gets it. I'm like, well, I said, his friend Mike gets. I'm like, Mike has. He goes, yeah, Mike's a meathead. He eats chicken and eggs all the time.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Nobody's gonna buy it. So I'm like, oh. So
I now want to hear a live recording of your brother to see if that's an accurate impression.
It's spot on.
Balls on accurate.
He's more alive, but when you talk to him, he's like, all right, what's going on? So. But no, he's very friendly. You go into the deli, he's very friendly.
No, he sounds like a peach.
He is. D. Domenico's are very friendly people.
I was trying to give you
no, they're not.
Peach pit reference there.
Maybe they are. He's
peach
not.
Pit?
I was trying to give you.
I missed it. I
was
missed
trying
it.
to set that up for you.
As always, I missed the setup and missed the punch then. But no, like I'm saying, it's important to celebrate not necessarily the food, but like you're kind of celebrating leaving Providence. So this is your home, and you're going to start
beginning a new chapter.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with giving yourself a little pat on the back and giving yourself what you want.
I don't want to rant for a second.
Rant, baby.
But there's literally no good pizza in California.
Probably not.
I lived in California at over 500 pounds.
Oh, I believe it.
There is no good pizza.
So in your prime, when you're like,
I was in my food prime. I remember here. This is what the two of you will enjoy.
You're like 92 Jordan.
So my friends in California in Long Beach said one night, we're going to take you to the best Italian restaurant in this area. We're going to go, and they have the best food. They have the best Italian food. They have this dish, this special. It's primo Italian food. I was pumped. I was like, I'm an East Coast guy. I may be Irish, but like Italian food runs through my veins.
Was the name of the restaurant Mamma Mia's?
Yeah. No.
It's always usually that it's like, hey,
Uncle Dino's.
So we go in and they're like, the specialty they're known for is this. It's primo Italian food. It's called the Chambord chicken, and what it is chicken in a sauce made with Chambord liqueur, which, if anyone knows, tastes like a grape soda.
Yeah.
And literally, they all ordered chicken drenched in Chambord liqueur as the primo Italian. And I was like, well, do they have chicken parm or veal parm? Oh, no, they don't have that. But we have chicken Chambord.
Did they have...
They had a lasagna that was like it was very weird. It was all, and I literally I pouted. I was like, this is not Italian food. I'm not.
I'm really mad.
I'm really not. Do you guys? You don't even make your pasta here. Okay. Yeah.
It's got red lentils in it.
Well, and then I was complaining. Yeah, that's gonna be a hard one to come back from. I was complaining about not having good pizza, and one of my friends said, "No, we'll order pizza tonight. It's gonna be great." And we ordered Papa John's.
Oh, my God.
And I was like,
take me home. I hate it.
This is the best pizza? And then I will say, eventually I found in Ocean Beach, which is where I'm moving in San Diego, there was a place on Newport Street called New York Pizza, and they had actual New York style pizza, and I think I wept when I had it. Like honestly, I was like, it was probably 2:00 in the morning. We had closed the bars; they were open till like 3. I was literally like, I want a piece of this and a piece of that and a piece of this and a piece of that and a piece of this and a piece of that.
Yeah.
And like I sat there with this like tray, like my friends are all having like one piece of pizza, and I'm like, get the fuck away from me!
Time to
pizza.
play the game.
And
Time to play the game.
They're not open anymore, so that is not there. So the possibility of getting good pizza is out of my life. So I literally was like, I'm gonna have good pizza one more time, so I remember what it's like. So when I have to tell the children about it after when the apocalypse that is our country comes to a close, when we're all eating MREs that we recover from an underground base that wasn't irradiated, then I will say, in my day, we used to actually put the tomato sauce on a thin cracker-like bread with some cheese. No, it was not. It was not the American cheese that I've told you about before. That had other purposes.
There's a thing called mozzarella.
But I will say also, like now this makes
smoked mozzarella, by the way. Do either of you like smoked?
I do, and I tried to buy some of that for the fresh mozzarella we had.
Yes.
Mozzarella we had tonight.
Very good.
They smoke it, so it's fresh smoked mozzarella. It's amazing.
Yeah, try to say the name of the cheese.
What
kind of cheese is it?
I'm gonna screw it
What
up.
kind of cheese?
Mozz.
No.
Mozz. Mozza.
What do you put on lasagna?
Mozzarella.
What do I put on lasagna?
Yeah, okay.
I put fresh ricotta.
Oh, ricotta.
See,
ricotta.
I put ricotta on it.
You put ricotta
Yeah,
on
I
it?
put ricotta on it. That's what I put on it.
You like manicotti?
I'm gonna beat you all with a sack of potatoes. That's what white people do.
Can I have some of that Capicola?
I thought this was gonna.
So when we pulled up here,
I knew the Irish Italian
Gormy-
summit was gonna be
Gormy
bad.
told me that the state appetizer here is fried calamari, and
It is.
everyone likes to go into the restaurants over here and order the calamari. I heard
with
it's
hot
very
pepper
good.
rings and marinara to dip it in.
Oh, some marinara?
We're gonna
Dip
get
it
in the car.
marinara.
We're gonna get the cat.
We're gonna go
Gonna get
over
in the
to the park in the bar, and we're gonna have some calamari.
Have a couple of beers. You want some beers?
Some Sam. Can I get a Sam Adams and calamari?
You got any fresh mozzarella back there?
You got mozzarella?
So the two of
I want to have it with my Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
you
Yeah,
kidding? It's September. Oktoberfest is done. They're moving on to Sam Summer already around here. Probably they're coming back around. They loop around very fast.
Yeah, I
with
know.
The Sam.
I
The
know.
Sam disappears very fast.
Well, it's
I
delicious.
was a Guinness guy when I drank.
All right.
Were you?
I haven't had a drink in.
Gormy's having a drink tonight.
I
I'm
haven't
gonna
had
film
a
that
drink
later.
in 2 years and 9 months.
It's ended tonight,
All
boys.
right.
That ends
So
tonight for
when
Gormy.
That happens. I'll be on the floor probably.
I said a drink. I'm having. I'm having a
drink.
tequila.
I'm having
You're
a
gonna have a drink. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know what
put
that
my
drink is.
sunglasses on. I'm gonna order a tequila on the
Cuz,
rocks.
cuz,
Hey,
let me-
Cuzzy.
I'm gonna
Cuzzy.
walk
I
into
love
this
I
bar
love
just
these
like this.
these
Bang.
sunglasses he wears.
Let me tell you something.
Okay, if you guys will watch it on Facebook Live.
Right, yeah.
No.
Boom. Let me get a tequila on the rocks, Patron Silver, if you got it. If not, what about a tequila?
Give him the other bar to go to. We're gonna go to somewhere else.
We're gonna. What we're gonna do? I'm gonna tell you to drop me and Anthony off, so because we want to walk a little more to the bar.
Oh,
You
you're gonna
can
walk.
park.
Yeah, you're gonna get
We'll
those
give
steps
you the
in.
address.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
get our steps
I'm gonna
in.
go back to the hotel room.
Well, we actually have to wrap this fun up. Believe it or not,
We
It's,
do.
Yeah, it's
Do we?
been over,
Really?
yeah, it's been over now. A
Has
little
it
over
really?
now. Yeah.
Oh, Anthony's got this strict 60-minute rule.
Not 60 minutes, but people, we also, want to go to the cigar bar
It's
and
Saturday
and,
night. People have
Saturday night.
lives.
They have lives.
These
but-
people watching.
It was a lot of fun doing this. It's probably the
Had a good
last time
time,
we're
for
going to
sure.
do this for a while. You
Yeah.
know, if you're going to San Diego, and I'm glad we got the chance to sit here and chop it up
Oh,
for a
this
little
was
bit.
awesome. I
For
had a
sure.
really good time.
Me too. Gormy, good luck in San Diego, man.
Yeah, Gormy,
Thanks
please,
so much,
lots
guys.
of luck.
I'm glad you were able to get up here.
And big shout out to the Gormans for opening up their house for us
Seriously,
tonight. We
yeah.
had dinner with Gormy's parents, which was a lot of fun. Gormy is as good as a chef as he shows himself to be on Instagram. I will say that. He whips up a mean steak.
Smelled delicious.
It was delicious. Anthony had some some Tupperware baked chicken, which also looked delicious.
and a baggie of prunes. We determined.
Yes.
They were grapes.
They were prunes.
They're moondrop
We're
grapes.
all
Yeah,
pretty
moon
sure
dropped
they're
out of
prunes.
your ass. They
We're
were
waiting,
great.
We're,
They were
waiting,
prunes.
we're waiting for the after effects of the prunes.
I'm
later.
Something's
fine.
definitely going to drop.
I got an iron stomach. I'm Italian.
Something's going to drop.
There we
Italian
go.
stomach. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for watching on Facebook Live, and everybody listening at home on your podcast listening devices. We'll see you next time.
Take care, guys.